So just like Flipkart, in Swiggy also I got a call from a staffing agency or a recruitment firm. They actually shortlisted my resume, and then they called me and asked me whether I am looking out for a job change, and I was open for it. And I then they shared my resume to Swiggy team, and then I was called for the interview. That's how I got to the interview. Yeah. So the whole interview process in Swiggy was completed in one day. All the rounds were covered in it, and yes, it just took one day for all the interview. And yes, it was a weekday. I went on a weekday, I remember, and it was not kind of a recruitment drive. They selected, shortlisted me, and then I went for the interview on a weekday. So that's how it was. Yeah. So the office was in a tech park. They have taken one single floor, and if you so the office was not that great and luxurious as it is in Microsoft, Uber, or any other bigger firms. But if you compare it with an average Indian startup, then definitely it's a good office and a good workspace. And as in when they are growing so much and they have raised so much amount of funding, so I think that space would not be sufficient for them, and they would be moving into a bigger office as well, and a more good office, I guess. But yes, office was decent, not as good as the bigger firms, and but yeah, it was decent when you compare it with other Indian startups. So yes, office space was decent. So total in Swiggy, I had 4 rounds, and these 4 rounds were, the first one was the machine coding round, the second one was the technical round, the third one was kind of a design and or architecture based round, and the fourth round was again the hiring manager round. So that is all the 4 rounds I had, and I went there in morning, and then the first 2 rounds were covered before lunch, and then the next 2 rounds were after lunch. So that's how the whole process was. And each and every, so first round was went took around 2 hours for machine coding, and the other rounds were around approximately 1 hour. So that is the whole 4 rounds I had in my Swiggy interview. Yeah. The first round was the machine coding round, in which we had to take our own laptop. It was notified to us prior interview that we can take our own laptops, and they gave access to the internet, and we had to code in vanilla JavaScript. The problem statement was very decent, easy. It was like an sort of an API integration to a backend API which they already gave. They have hosted some API which gives you a list of a restaurant, a big JSON which has restaurant information. It's just like developing another Swiggy web app, but yeah, not of that scale or that big and that UI experience and UI and UX. So, but yes, the problem statement was like you have to make Swiggy sort of a website in which they give you data in JSON, the API response in JSON, and then that API responds with the restaurant information, their images, their ratings, their tags, their all these restaurant related yeah, their menu, and then these things were there, and we have to show them in a very good way. So the major ask was to first of all to integrate the API, of course, and try to fetch and render data. So yes, all of this was done in vanilla JavaScript. You can't use any frameworks. And what else was there? Yeah, so after fetching that data, you have to implement for certain functionalities such as searching, sorting according to the list, filtering according to the tags, and also an implementation of a search bar. It is good. Like I implemented debouncing in it, and I was trying to improve performance. So that is what the plus point I gained, and I actually did it very quickly. So I was given like 1.5 2 hours, but I completed that very quickly. And later on, I added more features to it, like debouncing, and then type ahead feature where the user is typing something and then he gets a list of all the restaurant and other things. So yeah, that's how the whole thing was. And yes, the major ask was to make it responsive so that it looks good on each and every devices, desktop, tablets, and mobile phones. So that is what the majorly first round was, and they were focusing more on the code and modular structure of the code, and how you write functional components, and how you do it basically in vanilla JavaScript, how you handle events, on-click events, and again one more thing is like how can you optimize the web performance. Yes, so when you are building a customer facing web app, then performance is very critical, and that is what you should keep in mind. That gave me a plus point, bonus point. And yes, that is how it was. The toughness of the, if you ask me the toughness of the question, I would say it was damn easy, and I did it in less time, and I was able to provide more features to it, and it was good. Yeah. The second round which I had in my Swiggy interview experience was a technical round. So I won't say it was purely a DS or a UI tech round. So it was kind of a mix and match of both. And I really liked the experience with the interviewer. He was very friendly and nice to me. And so first of all, I can what I can recollect is we started with the assessment of the first round, which was the machine coding round. Like the interviewer was checking my code, how I wrote, and what features I implement in what way, and he was impressed by the code which I wrote. And then we moved on to a DS question. The DS question, what I don't exactly remember, but yes, it was kind of a DFS or BFS type of question. Like it was a tree searching question, something sort of that. And it was again easy. Like I won't say it was a tough. It was a normal DS question. Uh, like I didn't have to put in much effort to solve it. I remember. And then the next was Rio UI related questions, where he asked me a lot about JavaScript core concepts. So I really like that part. Of course, that is my favorite one. So yeah, I remember he was asking me about this prototypal inheritance, and how will you deal with it, and also a little bit about the promises and async await, that thing. So yes, all these questions were asked, and one more important question was about the web performance optimization, and obviously some questions regarding React. As I mentioned React in my resume, he asked few, not much, but one or two questions, and how familiar I am with React, and a little basics about React. So like it was a decent round. I won't say it was a very tough round, but yes, like it went well. Like I didn't even realize how that 1 hour passed away, and like I enjoyed that round. Yeah. So that was all about my second round. So the third round was a UI design kind of a round. I would design an architecture, I would say. So the first question which the interviewer asked me in that round was to implement our own library for, you can say, you have seen that carousel we have in websites. So where we have images which moves ahead, we have so many images in a left and right navigation bar where the images slides here and there and whatnot. So it was like if you were have to implement your own carousel or a library for your own carousel side sort of implementation, how would you go ahead and do it? So it was kind of a very nice experience for me. Like it was completely new, and the conversation with the interviewer was going in two way. He was giving me some challenges, and I was trying to solve that. So first of all, I started with listing down all the features I would give him. So the first thing in the design question is like be specific to see this carousel library can be huge, right? But first of all, make sure that you and interviewer are in a mutual, what you call it as mutual commitment of what all features you are about to provide. So I listed down what all maximum features he can provide, and then one by one I was picking a few features and was trying to give him the solution for each one of them. So like so if I go in more detail, how would you provide images to those carousel, and how what will happen in case of a fallback, how will you handle edge cases of that carousel, and how will you make it comfortable? How will you make it responsive? How will you make it performant? We can't put that whole HTML inside. We can't dump that whole HTML with all the images and then move them, right? So what would be your approach to move those images and slide those images? Those were really nice questions if you think about. So I would definitely recommend you go back and think about all these problems and how will you develop your own carousel, and the features which you would give, like what if the images were not of same size, and some basic question to big level questions, and how would you export it, and how would other people use your library, how simple the signature would look like. These were really good questions which you should practice. So like I get a lot of comments that people ask me, go ahead and discuss more design questions. So that is what this is how you should actually answer your design questions. I would come up with separate videos on my different only design related questions also. This time I would like your help. If you have any specific design questions, then do comment down. I would definitely love to come up with those as well. I am planning for them as well. And so this was the first question. The second question was, yeah. So the second question, this was done in half an hour or so. Like after half an hour, the interviewer said, "You are doing good and this looks good." Whatever approach you followed. After half an hour, he asked me another question, which was to develop or to architect. So suppose if we had to make our own have you seen that Nokia mobiles? In our old mobiles, we used to have that snake game. The snake is there, and then he eats up some cookies, or I don't know what it is, like let's call it as cookies. So that snake goes and eats that cookies and it grows. And so suppose you have to implement or make that own game, so how would you go ahead and do that? So it was again a really nice question. Like we brainstormed a lot, like about how we will implement it. So it was actually more of about DS also. How would you store that whole information about that whole board, and how will you store that what do you call it as the snake, and how will you indices of that cookie, and how will you go ahead and approach that whole problem? It was a really nice discussion, I would say. I really loved it, and I was giving him a lot of approaches, and he was giving back the problems in those approaches, and I was trying to solve them, and it was going back and forth, and that was a nice experience. So that is what the question I had, the second question. So it was really good. Try to think about it more. It was how we can extend that snake and what data structures we will use. It is a very good brainstorming lesson. So yeah, it was good. So that was all about my third round. After my lunch, I had third round, and then I had a break of around 15-20 minutes, or I think half an hour, and then I had my fourth round in my Swiggy interview experience, which was the hiring manager round. So in my hiring manager round, the interview actually, the round actually started with questions about my resume. So he had my resume in front of him, and he was checking my resume, and he was pin and pointing out each and every specific sections of my resume, and he was going deep inside each and every projects which I have done. So that was the first thing. So the whole interview, if I had to break the first 15, so it was 1 hour interview, and then the first 15-20 minutes was just about my resume. He was diving deep into the projects and sections which I have done, and my achievements, of course, like I won a hackathon. I have mentioned it in my resume. So he was more of interested in knowing more about me first, then proceeding ahead with the interview. That I really liked his idea. So he was like trying to get a brief image about my technical skills first of all, and then he proceeded ahead with the interview. So that is what I kind of liked. And after that resume 15 minutes, the next, I would say, half an hour was spent in a technical sort of a discussion, where he was asking me questions about. So he was asking me questions about scaling applications, and how will you make these applications performant. He was saying that if you are working on customer facing applications, so their performance is a critical issue. how will you maintain those, and he was asking me about these latest technologies like have I ever worked on service workers and how will you manage. So suppose if we had to implement this chat kind of concept where two people can chat or even multiple people can chat, how will you design it, how will the WebSockets connection will be made, and service workers, and like these kind of things he was asking. So I really liked that round, and that half an hour was spent in this technical discussion. So the last 15 minutes were just a Q&A, I would say, and I asked him a ton of questions, a lot of questions, as I was eager to know more about the role, company, and what kind of projects they work on. And the interviewer and the hiring manager, he happily answered each and every question, and I really liked it. And I asked a lot of questions about what kind of projects I will be working on, tech stack, how is the day-to-day work, and a lot of other things. So that is how we ended that whole 1 hour session. Yeah, and everything looked positive. Yeah. So not like the Flipkart interview. This time I really got the offer. Yeah. And yeah, I was very excited. And yes, so it was like the interview happened in one day, and like the next week, I got a call from them that they will be offering me, and we had a salary negotiation and some sort of discussion. Yeah, that's really very important. That's really very important. And yeah, after 1 week or so after that, I got the offer letter on my mail, and yeah, so that's how it was. So if you ask me about my overall experience, I would say it was really very nice. The one day it was very smooth, and in one day I completed all the rounds of interview. That was the best part I like. Like in startups, they generally finish it fast. So that's how it was. It was a really nice experience. If you ask me the toughness of all these interview rounds, I would say it was decent. Not that high, not that low, but yeah, it was decent. I was impressed by the DSN architecture round. It was yeah, UI design and architecture, the third round. Uh, the first two rounds were easy for me. Like it could be easier for me, it could be tough for you, or like vice versa. But yeah, the third round, I really liked that round, and the bar I would say was decent, not very high or not very low. And the communication and everything, the interviewers, I was happy with everything. Yeah, nothing negative. Of course, I definitely recommend Swiggy for UI engineers or UI developers. So if you are a UI guy working on JavaScript, if you get an offer and got a chance to work with Swiggy, I would definitely recommend you to go ahead and join it. I was really actually impressed by the hiring manager. I asked him a lot of questions, and the more questions I was asking, the more answers I was getting. I was getting more interested in Swiggy, and I really liked the company and what they are doing. And again, like in food tech, if you see, and in overall Indian startups, I admire Swiggy a lot. They have done a lot in tech, I would say. Like they are very good in tech, and I like to read their blogs a lot. Like I am a fan of their blogs. Also, you can go ahead and check out. Uh, I read, I follow their blogs. Bytes.swiggy, I think they are on Medium, and so I would definitely recommend you. Yeah, no doubts. If you don't have any other good offer, better offer than Swiggy, I would definitely recommend you to go ahead without thinking and join Swiggy. And in future also, I think Swiggy has very good problem and challenges to solve, and they really love to do great work. So I would definitely recommend you. One of the best Indian startups, I would say. So this was all about my Swiggy interview experience. I hope you liked it. And now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to tell me in the comment section that what interview round did you like in that whole process? Which interview round you felt that was tough for you? And if you tell me all these information, then it would help me to come up with more videos on those topics. and definitely would like to know more about what kind of topics you want ahead in my channel. And yeah, I would regularly be coming up with videos now. And yes, go ahead and comment down right now which interview parts you really liked and didn't like, and what kind of questions I should come up or you want me to help you with. So do that. And also, if you really like this video, then do give it a thumbs up. It really motivates me. And do subscribe to my channel, as I will be coming up with more such videos, more interview experiences, and more knowledge about JavaScript and web technologies and a lot of other stuff related to interview and this whole space. So keep learning. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.